Hello, welcome back. So this continuation from the first video on the new early years foundation stage curriculum. That's September 2021. So we started by looking at the first feature of effective practice. We said that's the best for every child. Under that, we have the definition of what is meant about the best for every child, or things that we should be doing to ensure that we were considering the best for every child. Secondly, is high quality care, and high quality care also has sub headings, things that we need to be doing, the characteristics, things that we should be following to ensure that in our delivery in the nursery environment, what we're providing is a high quality care. And the first one is that the child's experience must always be central to the thinking of every practitioner. Babies, toddlers, and young children thrive when they are loved and when cared for. High quality care is consistent. Every practitioner needs to enjoy spending time with young children. Then effective practitioners are responsive to children and babies. They notice when a baby looks towards them and giggles and respond with pleasure. Practitioners understand that toddlers are learning to be independent, so they will sometimes get frustrated. Yeah, so that comes to behavior management. I hear people referring to 2-year-olds, naughty twos. They are never naughty twos. It's the stage that they are learning to be independent and then are exploring. Not that they are naughty. Yeah. So good behavior management, good support for them, be positive about it, and then get the environment engaging for them to get them settled. Practitioners know that starting school and all other transitions in the early years are big steps for small children. Yeah, and then they are taking appropriate steps to ensure that transition was good for children. Then the curriculum itself, what we want children to learn. So it's a fixture of the effective practice. So the curriculum is a top level plan for everything the early years setting wants children to learn. Yeah, top level plan. Yeah, you remember I said before that the curriculum can come in 3 levels: at the nursery level, at the room level, and then at the individual level. Yeah. Then planning to help every child to develop their language is vital. It is vitally important. Language is vitally important. And the new curriculum has placed a lot of emphasis on communication and language. The curriculum needs to be ambitious. Careful sequencing will help children to build their learning over time. Young children's learning is often driven by their interest. Yeah, so plans need to be flexible. Plan will need to be flexible. Babies and young children do not develop in a fixed way. Their development is like a spider's web with many strands, not a straight line. Yeah, which is why the development method statement doesn't really make sense. Because you are looking out for, oh, he's achieved this, he hasn't achieved that, he's secure here, it's not that. It's just, there's a bit of a problem with all this development, because critically looking at it, which one comes first? Does learning come first before development, or development before learning? If you want to go by the development matter statements, it could get problematic and then couldn't stand scrutiny. And death, yeah, not death as in to die. Death, that's the deepness of something. Death in early learning is much more important than covering loads of things in a superficial way. Then pedagogy, that's helping children to learn. Yeah, so curriculum is the intent. Yeah, pedagogy is the implementation. Yeah, and people will have different methods of implementation. Is it Montessori? Is it planning in the moment? Curiosity approach? Stoiner? People, their own way of doing things. Yeah, The curriculum didn't prescribe anything. The curriculum, the EYFS was or is descriptive. You are allowed how you want to implement uh, the curriculum or the framework, but then you should make sure that whichever method that you choose is working for your children. If it's not working, then that will not be good enough. So the pedagogy, which is children helping children to learn, it states clearly that children are powerful learners. Every child can make progress in their learning with the right help. Effective pedagogy is a mix of different approaches. Children learn through play, by adult modeling, by observing each other, and through guided learning and direct teaching. Practitioners carefully organize enabling environments for high quality play. Sometimes they make time and space available for children to invent their own play. Sometimes they join in to sensitively support and extend children's learning. Children in the early years also learn through group work when practitioners guide their learning. Older children need more of this guided learning. A well-planned learning environment, indoors and outside, is an important aspect of pedagogy. Assessment requirements, which is the fifth feature of effective practice. Assessment is about noticing what children can do and what they know. It is not about lots of data and evidence. It's not about cohort analysis and all of that. It's about know your key child. Know your key child. What your key child can do, what your key child cannot do, and then how to support that. So noticing, kind of a new word now. Observation. You observe, you notice. They are similar, same thing. So effective assessment requires practitioners to understand child development, which is very important. You need to understand child development, all the theories, how all of those are playing out within the nursery room. Practitioners also need to be clear about what they want children to know and be able to do. Accurate assessment can highlight whether a child has a special educational need and needs extra help. So 2-year check between 2 and 3. We have the assessment report, which is the only legal one that is required of us to make sure that we are able to support all of the children as may be necessary. Before assessing children, it's a good idea to think about whether the assessment will be useful. You got to think about it, if the assessment will be useful. But no, because we want to always be in the good books of parents, we will go over and above the requirement of the EYFS itself to supply them with all forms of assessment to keep them happy. And then assessment should not take practitioners away from the children for long periods of time. It mustn't take away practitioners from children for long periods of time. Then self-regulation and executive function. So executive function includes the child's ability to hold information in mind, focus their attention, think flexibly, inhibit impulsive behavior. These abilities contribute to the child's growing ability to self-regulate. Concentrate their thinking, plan what to do next, monitor what they are doing and adapt, regulate strong feelings, be patient for what they want, bounce back when things get tougher. So around behavior and attitudes, language development is central to self-regulation. Children use language to guide their actions and play. Pretend play gives many opportunities for children to focus their thinking, persist, plan ahead. Then partnership, working with parents, the last feature of effective practice. It is important for parents and early years settings to have a strong and respectful partnership. This sets the scene for children to thrive in the early years. This includes listening regularly to parents and giving parents clear information about their children's progress. The help that parents give their children at home has a very significant impact on their learning. And some children get much less support from their learning at home than others. By knowing and understanding all the children and their families, settings can offer extra help to those who need it. Yeah, working in partnership with the parent, supporting children's learning at home is very crucial. It is important to encourage our parents to chat, to play, and to read with their children. So that though all those 7 are the features of effective practice. So when we take this back into inspection and then what the grade descriptors are saying in handbook, the earliest inspection handbook for Ofsted register provision starting September 2021, which is the website. The grade descriptors for quality of education is on the curriculum itself. So the EYFS curriculum. So the EYFS educational program. So the EYFS states that provides the curriculum framework that leaders build on to decide what they intend children to learn and to develop. Yeah, the curriculum is what you intend children to learn and to develop, to be able to do. Leaders and practitioners decide how to implement the curriculum so that children make progress in the 7 areas of learning. Leaders and practitioners evaluate the impact of the curriculum by checking what children know and can do. So when reaching a judgment, the handbook says, when reaching a judgment on quality of education, inspectors will work with leaders and managers to understand how the curriculum as a whole is structured and where they can find evidence that the quality of education criteria are met. It continues. Teaching should not be taken to imply a top-down or formal way of working. It is a broad term. Teaching is a broad term that covers the many different ways in which adults help young children learn. It includes their interaction with children during play and child-initiated play and activities, communicating and modeling language, showing, explaining, demonstrating, exploring ideas, encouraging, questioning, recalling, providing a narrative for what they are doing, facilitating and setting challenges. It takes account of the equipment that adults provide and the attention given to the physical environment, as well as the structure and routines of the day that establish expectations. Integral to teaching is how practitioners assess what children know, understand, and can do, as well as taking account of their interest and disposition to learn, which we call the characteristics of effective learning, and how practitioners use this information to plan children's next steps in learning and to monitor their progress. So teaching is very important. When you come to quality of education, at the heart of that is teaching. And we are all teachers working in early years, childminders, all of that, because we are explaining things to children. We are recalling things with children. We are questioning children. We are encouraging them. We are demonstrating, modeling things to them. And then we are exploring ideas to them. So all of this that we do or makes us teachers. So the intent of your curriculum, quality of education, the intent is leaders adopt or the leaders as managers. So this clearly the leadership of the nursery, of the childminder, we need to set the tone for what it is that they want the children to learn and to know. So, which is why when I said that the curriculum, quality of education, the curriculum can be considered at 3 levels within the nursery, where you have what the leaders want the provision to give to the children, who then cascaded down to each various rooms, because the application of that will vary from room to room, and then at the practitioner level, what from all of that, what they want their children, their key children, to get out of the broader curriculum. So leaders adopt or construct a curriculum that is ambitious and designed to give children, particularly the most disadvantaged, the knowledge and the cultural capital they need to succeed in life. The provider's curriculum is coherently planned and sequenced. It builds on what children know and can do towards cumulatively sufficient knowledge and skill for their future learning. The provider has the same ambitions for all children. The children with particular needs, such as those with high levels of SEND, their curriculum is still ambitious and meets their needs. Implementation, yeah, that's how we implement the curriculum. There are so many ways of doing that. There's no one particular way that's prescribed. Children benefit from meaningful learning across the EYFS curriculum. So the implementation practitioners understand the areas of learning they teach and the way in which children learn. Leaders provide effective support, including for staff with less experience and knowledge of teaching. Practitioners present information clearly to children, promoting appropriate discussion about the subject matter being taught. They communicate well to check children's understanding, identifying misconceptions, and provide clear explanations to improve their learning. In so doing, they respond and adapt their teaching as necessary. Practitioners ensure that their own speaking, listening, and reading of English enables children to hear and to develop their own language and vocabulary well. They read to children in a way that excites and engages them, introducing new ideas, concepts, and vocabulary. Over the EYFS, teaching is designed to help children remember long-term what they have been taught and to integrate new knowledge into larger concepts. Yeah, so all of those are implementation as the great descriptors has laid out, and practitioners and leaders use assessment well to check what children know and can do to inform teaching. This includes planning suitably challenging activities and responding to specific needs. Leaders understand the limitations of assessment and avoid unnecessary burden for staff. Avoid unnecessary burden for staff and children. Practitioners and leaders create an environment that supports the intent of an ambitious and coherently planned and sequenced curriculum. The available resources meet the children's needs and promote their focus on learning. Practitioners share information with parents about their child's progress in relation to the EYFS. They help parents to support and extend their child's learning at home, including how to encourage a love of reading. On impact, on impact, children, the great descriptor provide that children develop detailed knowledge and skills across several areas of learning, and to use this in an age-appropriate way. Children develop their vocabulary and understanding of language across the EYFS. Children are ready for the next stage of education, especially school, where applicable. They have the knowledge and the skills they need to benefit from what schools has to offer when it's time to move on. Children enjoy, listen attentively, and respond with comprehension to familiar stories, rhymes, and songs that are appropriate to their age and stage of development. Children understand securely the early mathematical concepts appropriate to their age and stage that will enable them to move on to the next stage of learning. Children articulate what they know, understand, and can do in an age-appropriate way, holding thoughtful conversations with adults and their friends. From birth onwards, children are physically active in their play, developing their physiological, cardiovascular, and motor skills. They show good control and coordination in both large and small movements appropriate for their age, their stage of development. So the curriculum in terms of quality of education, all of the changes from the statutory framework point of view down to the non-statutory framework point of view, and then now to the great descriptors for quality of education, which is going to be very important. But once quality of education collapses, everything else is inadequate. So we never have in mind about safeguarding. If quality of education is not good enough, yeah, it's all gone in flames then. Yeah, then down to the grade descriptors. We would have to be careful, or would have to be mindful about the grade descriptors. That everything else we're doing, we got to make sure that we are aware of the grade descriptors and that things are fitting into that for the purposes of inspection. What we are doing are fitting into that. Then once we follow the grade descriptors, not only will the children be learning and be thriving because we would have been following requirements, then we also be coming up with good judgment for our provision. So I hope that this piece of training has exposed you to all of the significant changes and the new EYFS 2021. And then I look forward, well, rather you will complete the next training I have down on quality of education model that will look at all of the quality of education issues, show you example about how all of these are reported, and then what we should be doing in the Nursery environment to ensure that we are delivering quality all of the time, every day. Thank you for your attention. If you need to explore any issues on this particular model, you can reach me on KOMLA at awakeconsultancy.com, or use the community session in the app. Put questions there, or send me a message in the community area, and then I shall reply to this. Thank you very much. Thank you.